Thank you so much for joining me in this live discussion. For everyone who's joined in and who's watching, I just want to tell you that I don't know Maniza Ahuja personally, but I just, on a whim, I just reached out to her, and she was so kind and gracious enough to say, let's do it. It seems like it's going to be a fun chat. So thank you so much for that.
Yes, you're most welcome. I think it's a gain for both of us. I mean, it's good for me also to know different people, different sets of people, and you yourself are a performer. So why do you? So I think it's one performer to the other.
Thank you so much.
One cardiac performer to the other.
I was telling you this yesterday when we spoke very briefly that to me, I honestly don't see you as an astrologer, though I've seen all your predictive videos that you've shared on YouTube, because for me, you seem much larger than that. And you have a spiritual bent of mind. And I find that is something actually that really draws me to you. So I want to just start with that and ask you, is it really imperative for astrology and spirituality to go hand in hand?
See, anybody whose worth is salt as an astrologer understands that what is a horoscope basically? It is the blueprint of the skies at the time of the birth. Basis that horoscope, I can tell you what is going to happen in your 30th year or your 40th year. If I can tell you that, which means that there is some prarabdha karma that is activated, because how do I know with your time of birth what will happen to you in your 40th year? If Absolutely. I can see that, then that is the first stamp of karma. The womb that you are born out of, that is the first stamp of destiny, or really karma. That's past karma that's now fructifying. So if you understand karma, then you understand spirituality, because astrology is all about when you, as they say, sometimes you have to drink poison when you see your own chart. Vish ka pyala, aapko Shankar banna padta hai. Aap vish ka pyala peete hain, aap apna chart dekhte hain.
Interesting, because this is one of the things that I wanted to ask you, that how do you inculcate your knowledge of astrology in your personal life? Because obviously it's very different when someone comes to you and
yes.
you have an objective view. It's easy to have an objective view. That's something you've studied and you've mastered. But when it applies to you, does it change the narrative? Does it absolutely change the story for you?
So that is where this entire piece of spirituality comes from. It is like, well, you should be, good and, but when you study astrology very deeply, you automatically become spiritual, because you see the stamp of destiny across and you realize the invincibility of providence. And then you know that divinity prevails. But yet I must quote, in spite of the invincibility of providence, our scriptures, and I will quote the Ramayana here, especially the Valmiki Ramayana, and I think everybody should study it. Everybody reads Tulsidas Ramayana, people don't read the Valmiki Ramayana. Lakshman says in Valmiki Ramayana that it is only a coward who depends on destiny and takes shelter under destiny. But the wise do not feel disappointed when their plans are spoiled because of destiny. So free will and karma, moral, effort can resist the contours or the chakra of destiny. It can resist it. It cannot completely wipe it, but it can resist it. So this is the beauty of karma, spirituality, prarabdha within the larger canvas of astrology. So if an astrologer does not become spiritual, then who else would?
very, very well said, ma'am. You brought this point up because I find it very interesting, because there are a lot of times where you have this argument, or rather this question which is thrown at you, saying, do you believe in destiny? Do you believe in fate? Versus, do you not believe in it, and do you think that you have control over your life and you can sort of take charge? And to me, it always seems, whenever these questions are posed, it always seems that they're two ends of the spectrum. Is that how it is in your opinion, or is there a merger of both?
See, what is destiny? Destiny is also karma of previous lives. How else would it become destiny? There has to be
input into destiny. No one understands. I think that's what no one understands. Absolutely.
So karma. How else will a fetus, or an embryo, there's a lady who has an abortion in the 8th month. How would you define that? That child hasn't done anything. He hasn't been given the few years of free will. He does not know anything. He's died. Or probably a child of 2 years who dies. Did he get, the requisite time to perform his karma? No. Then what is it that caused his death in 2 years of, coming out of the womb? Previous karma.
Absolutely.
And previous karma has a new word called prarabdha. But it is karma, your karma alone, that defines your destiny. But since the previous baggage, and I will use the word baggage here, which is both good baggage and bad baggage, that is prarabdha that is given to you, carried on your shoulders.
Absolutely.
A quirky surprise of, lots of preparations have been done. A lot of hopes have been pinned on an event, and suddenly everything goes awry. How? Destiny, the invincibility of providence. Yet, as I say, moral effort can resist the workings of karma. There is, even the Gita talks of free will. So there is free will. Otherwise, human evolution and human birth would lose its meaning, would lose all sense of meaning if there was no free will, because people would exhaust their karma and everybody would attain moksha. But that is not true. We have the ability to discern, to distinguish and decide what we want to do. And that can resist the working of destiny. It cannot change it completely, but that can resist the working of destiny. That
itself is a protection, and that gives you courage, that gives you strength. So I hope everyone who's logged in and who's watching this is listening, because actually this explanation I honestly haven't heard from anyone. So, and of course, like in all your other videos as well, very, very beautifully explained, ma'am. But since we're talking about spirituality, I also want to ask you, what is the difference between spirituality and religion? Some people don't see any difference. I do. But why don't you tell me? You elaborate on it.
Yeah. See, spirituality is a very high order realm, and there exists, when you're very extremely spiritual, or you are a Siddha yogi. When you're a Siddha yogi, I would look at it, I'll explain it from the perspective of the serpentine Shakti, okay, or the Kundalini. If it is risen, irrespective of what your religion is, in your inner laboratory, if the Shakti has risen, then you're at level, M, level Z, whether you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, you're a Sikh, you might be whoever, but you have arrived. Then religion does not matter at all. The compunctions, the, variations in religion then do not matter. But if you have not arrived there, then this is a system. Religion is a system of arriving to a higher spiritual pedestal. It's a system because it has ritual, it has a system. Do this, don't do that. It's a spiritual system of making the Shakti rise and move upwards. Some systems are more developed, some are rudimentary, but all systems in their own way are aiming to move the Shakti up and therefore evolve your consciousness. That is the aim of every religion.
Absolutely.
But if your consciousness is evolved, then you don't need religion, because religion was a helping guide to go that path. But sometimes rudimentary systems, make you a little warped in the head. I would use the word system for religion. But then that's also the Leela of Krishna, as I say. If rudimentary systems are prevalent, that too is the Leela of Krishna. Otherwise, he would have said, everybody, all of you, get evolved. Just say, Naimi Sharanya mein sab log baith gaye, and they all attained moksha. So he would create, one little Naimi Sharanya close to Ayodhya is a place called Naimi Sharanya. A lot of Jain Munis also did their sadhana there. But I'm saying then the whole world would become one Naimi Sharanya and everybody would be attaining moksha. Then there's no religion required. Then there's pure spiritual bliss. But yeah, to answer that question.
Okay, interesting. Let's talk about the Hanuman Chalisa just as an example. There's, the Hanuman Chalisa interestingly mentions the distance between the sun and the earth. Now, this is one finding, and I bring this up because our ancient Vedic texts, they seem to be a treasure trove of knowledge and gyan on all possible topics. There are some naysayers who don't believe in it, but I think there is enough proof
Yes.
that of its existence. This is just one, the distance between the sun and the earth, which was probably somewhere around the 15th century or so. I'm not very, very sure of the date. But modern science has very recently come out with these findings. But our rishis knew it way back when. So can you elaborate on more such findings?
See, there are many such findings. I mean, the Britishers came and they said, you require one IST, and, Madras time was made as IST, but Ujjain was long ago the Greenwich of India. So you can go there and there's enough proof, even in the observatories that they have there. So it was the Greenwich of India, and, a Tropic of Cancer passed through, Mahakal, the spires of Mahakal and Mangalnath. So there are many such, relevant points. Even astrology, if you read the Ramayana, people say, astrology is now recent, etc. If you go through the Ramayana, then it talks of, Bharat goes to meet Ram in the Maitra Muhurt. Ram tells Sugriv to march towards Lanka in the Abhijit Muhurt. They say that when Rama was exiled, the constellation of the Ikshvakus, Vishakha, the nakshatra of the Ikshvakus, was clouded. I mean, these are astrological, references. Even eclipse. I mean, now people say, Rahu is astronomically, the astronomical truth to this is that Rahu is engulfing the moon, and Rahu is a smoky planet. We have said it in our Shastras. Our Shastras quote this, but now astronomers say, yes, when there is an eclipse, there is a smoky substance around the moon. So we have all this while said that, Rahu is smoky. We have all this while, use the word him or Himanshu for moon. Now the scientists are saying, oh, there is snow on the moon. So we knew a long time back, even the workings of the inner laboratory, we've known it far beyond otherwise, the workings of the Shakti, even this entire system of, you call it religion, you call it the Shakti worship or the Kundalini worship, whatever. I mean, this entire system is so evolved. How do we know? How does this work? How do we know what is in the astral body at the Mooladhara Chakra? How? So somebody has, sitting here, gone into the wavelength of the planet Mars or the planet Moon, and figured out what is the element.
Okay.
The basic तत्व. सो हिमांशु स्नो, तुम्हें पता है ठंडा है चंद्रमा, कहते हैं आप बीमार हो गए तो चंद्रमा की चीज सनसेट के बाद मत खाइए, हमें ऐसे ही पता है ये बात. मंगल की चीज खाइए, उसमें अग्नि का कारक है. कैसे पता है? हमें कैसे पता है मंगल में अग्नि का कारक है? ये तो अब बता रहे हैं ना वो men are from Mars and women are from Venus. I mean, that's a very recent discovery. It's not even a discovery, it's just a metaphor for whatever.
Yes.
So, rudimentary systems, they need to evolve, but that's okay. So as I say, the world will look towards the east. Many yogis will rise in the east. The world will look towards the east and learn from the east. Now the time will soon set in for that. Every time there's Khanda Pralay, the people, the sun will always rise in the east. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is.
I love the way you say it. Very unabashed. That's lovely. You mentioned tattvas, and this is something that I was also thinking about, that people don't realize that all of us are made of the same 5 elements.
Yes.
जिनको हम तत्व कहते हैं वो सब में वही हैं. They are the same elements.
Yes.
What differs
Very
is the slight ratio. Ratio actually is the better word. The slight ratio of it, because only when that ratio, even in an individual, it changes. That's what changes your vibe, your energy, because that's the frequency at which you are vibrating. And everyone is vibrating at a certain frequency, which is why either 2 people clash or they find themselves in similar company. But the point that I was wanting to raise is, people don't realize that when you harm someone, you're actually, in the larger perspective, harming yourself. because you're having the same elements. And then that's why they say लेकिन मेरे साथ क्यों हुआ? भाई आपने अगर उन तत्वों को harm किया है, you think it's someone else, but actually you're connected, and therefore you're facing the repercussions at some point or the other. You know, so it is this concept which a lot of people don't understand or don't know. Maybe they're not aware of it.
I'll answer it. Yes, you're absolutely correct and you're very right. But I'll give you one small example of tattvas. A lot of times people, tap on kar dete and a lot of water is flowing and, their maids are washing utensils and the tap is flowing and water is gushing out. And, even when I'm in an ashram, I tell people, when you're washing utensils, don't let the water go waste. Wait and then only, put the tap on again and then wash. This is क्यों? ऐसे आप जिस तत्व का बाहर डिसरिस्पेक्ट करते हैं वो इस शरीर में एक दिन एक ग्लैंड कहेगी मैं थोड़ा सा और आज let me secrete some more of the hormone today, then what will you say? Then whether it's thyroxine or any other, I mean, I'm not saying those are endocrine glands, those could be any glands. But one day one gland decides that it wants to, you've been wasting water, it says ठीक है मैं थोड़ा सा thyroxine कम कर देती हूँ आप मोटे हो जाएंगे. So because the water is in the form of, is in the human body as well. One gland can just pop one secretion, and then you will say, oh, I hear of, there are men who say, oh, now there's low count, the child is not happening because there's so many chars. They go and, pray to the Shivaling. So that is tattva again. So don't waste resources. Your harming is another karma, but don't waste resource. आप प्लास्टिक इस्तेमाल करते हैं, आप प्लास्टिक पोल्यूशन कर रहे हैं, that is so आप पृथ्वी तत्व खराब करते हैं जब आप प्लास्टिक का पोल्यूशन करते हैं. So your own पृथ्वी तत्व will be spoiled, and the base of the spine is the Shakti. आप देखेंगे in lot of olden houses there was kacha mitti gardens, of kacha mitti. That is how the Kundalini has to rise. I mean, that was pertinent for every house to have a kacha place. Now everything is concretized. This is cosmically the sign of an Adhomukhi Kundalini. I mean, I can look at it and tell you this. I mean, this is science beyond. But so one needs to know. So why do they say if you use the cell phone, there's a lot of vibration. You walk barefoot on the ground. You lie down on the ground. Kachi mitti par. The vibration will pass because the earth has the power to grasp all negative. Why do they say, why is the word earthing used? Earthing.
Yes.
So earthing, aapko apni earthing karni padti hai. Why do they say the eyes will become stronger if you walk, barefoot on the grass? Why? Because, the electromagnetic vibration of, the grass will activate this. So now we are saying we don't want gardens. Every house is, one on top of the other. And then, no, we want space. We will make one more room. And then we say, oh, why aren't we happy? So I'm saying it is happening at a larger societal level. People need to understand that let animals live in peace. Houses, to breathe. And you to be happy. In a concrete jungle, nobody can be happy.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what's happening, right? We face the repercussions, whether we realize it or we don't, whether it takes a long time, whether it's immediate, whether it takes a long time for the repercussions to manifest. The fact is that they do, which is why it's said that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And I think that's also what's happening currently in today's day and age, in this month, in the last few months as well, because I think man by nature is self-centered, is selfish, but I think we've certainly crossed a certain threshold because we seem to have forgotten that nature is part of us, is part of the creation. We have to live in harmony. And we actually are witnessing the repercussions of urbanization, deforestation, harming animals to I don't know what extent, and for what? To only satiate greed. That's it. I mean, there's only greed at the end of it. There's nothing else, and that greed is also very short-lived because I mean, how long can you enjoy it? You want to, you're so fickle-minded. You want to move to something else, and the worst part is the emotion gets grosser and grosser and grosser.
Yes.
You're definitely not you moving or evolving. It's devolution because you're moving lower down the evolution ladder.
Correct.
But how do we change? What can one do? I mean, awareness, yes, that I know. But ma'am, I'm asking these questions only because I think about this. This is something that comes to me from time to time. So it's just natural for me to speak to you about something like this.
See, sometimes what happens, awareness is not as simple as that. It comes to sensitive souls easily. You, me, we can feel the pain of others, but not everybody. Everybody wants to just grow. They can only, they're like, they only want to be, yes, they want to have material success. So sometimes you require a jolt. And this is the time for a jolt. And this is like a cosmic jolt. So once this happens, and cosmic jolts don't happen for 1 day or 2 days. They happen for almost 6 to 7 years. If you look at previous historical dates, you will realize that sometimes they move on for decades. One problem after the other, so for decades. A pralaya, sort of sets in. So I'm saying this is definitely lasting for more than a decade. This is what is going to start now. It'll change the equation. It'll change the equation, but it'll be for more than a decade. My Jyotish Guru, he predicted, and he predicted it long time back, that this India-China border conflict too, he had predicted in 2016. Okay, so it's 2020. He had seen this 24 years. And after 2030, we move into a more warlike situation, not just India, but world over. So mayhem is going to only build up. So one has to be ready, personal ambitions, personal gains. So this is not like a 1 or 2 day or one corona has come. Corona is just part of, the scheme of things. It'll come, it'll go. But there are many others that will set the ball rolling. So,
ma'am, I'll ask you individual questions because I'm going to ask you one more, which I want your opinion on before we start actually getting down to astrology and your predictions, because a lot of questions have come in. I really want to answer them. But one thing before we move on, I just want to ask you in your opinion, like I have my own performance studio. Astrologically, how would you see performance? Forget career-wise, but even someone, because everyone performs day to day. So astrologically, how can we see performance with regard to any individual at any point of time?
Performance is really karma. Performance is what you do in your day-to-day life from an astrological perspective. Why? Because karma is going to make itself into your prarabdha for your next life. It'll, what you do now, some you will reap now, the benefits or the maleficence of the karma that you've, done. Some is for next time. Some will be carried forward. So some will be carried forward, some will be exhausted here. So performance really from an astrological, for a spiritual person would be pure karma. So clean your karma, as they say. So the 4th chapter of the Gita is really performance, because it talks about karma.
Okay.
Nishkam karma, जिसमें फल की इच्छा ना की जाए. And again, as Lakshman says in Ramayana, that the coward takes the shelter of destiny, but a wise man does not get disappointed when destiny does not approve of his efforts. It's okay if all plans go awry, it's okay. A wise man understands that. So, nishkam karma, aap kaam karte rahe, purusharth, initiative. You cannot say, oh, if it is willed, then I will get up and take a bath in the morning. You're wasting your time.
That's an excuse.
Yeah, because
that's an excuse.
Yeah, a lot of people come to me and they say, the time you're telling me is not ripe. So should I apply for jobs, or should I wait when my time, when my good time comes, and then I should apply for jobs? So I tell them that purusharth, or really the initiative, ghatna ke garb se, and I will use a heavy duty Hindi line here, and I'll explain it in English as well. Ghatna ke garb se, from the womb of an event, if another event has to, come forth, that too requires initiative, purusharth. So if you sit back and you say, well, it will happen on its own, nothing will. What you do from now to the next 6 months, which are not very congenial to your good fortune, after these 6 months, this entire effort that you put for these 6 months might reap result. Somebody might call you after 6 months for the effort that you made now. So never give up on effort. Destiny, astrology does not tell you to give up on effort. Only a fool thinks that karma is fatalistic. So always keep on moving forth. As I said, human evolution. And yet, don't be disappointed if the results are not in your favor, because you must do your best. Otherwise, the entire motivation of human life will go sour.
Do your best, move on, keep working, and leave the rest to God.
Yes, Nishkam Karma, as they say. Nishkam
Ma'am,
Karma.
ma'am, a lot of questions are coming in about prayers, power of prayers. So if you can just expand on that, please.
See, prayers will, a lot of time, children's, also ask me this question. I do a lot of mantras, but, I was thinking of my game, my father, my friend, but I was not into the mantra when I was doing it. A lot of people say that. And
Okay.
I'm, preempting that question. Irrespective of whatever is your frame of mind, start praying, start doing a mantra. Slowly you will gain one-pointed consciousness or one-pointed focus. Don't say, but I was thinking, I will not pray till the time I'm not focused. Don't wait for that day to come. It will be too late. Start now. Start today. So start doing your prayers, because prayers will eventually evolve your consciousness. You will not realize. So just follow what I say. If you just do the Hanuman Chalisa thrice every day, after a month we will talk. And after a month, you will say, oh, I think a little difference, has come up in the way I think. Or, now I don't like to do this. I like to do that. Now I don't want to bully people. Now I want to just keep to myself. Changes, subtle changes will happen in your consciousness without you knowing what the prayer is doing. But the current will flow for sure, because sound energy never gets destroyed. It stays in one form or the other. So if you're worshipping and you're, chanting the prayer, as I say, if you do the Hanuman Chalisa written by Tulsi Das, then you're tapping into the frequency of that sound vibration, which is already in the universe. The Gita, as they say, what Krishna has said is already in the universe. When you repeat the shlokas, you tap into that vibration, you tap into that frequency of that sound. So therefore, I tell people, recite the Sanskrit shlokas. There is a lot more benefit doing that. There is for no reason. I mean, I could have said, just do this. And I mean, of course, there are other meditation forms, and I'm saying those are good as well. But a mantra has a lot of power. It does not require you to be too focused. You start doing it, slowly you will get focused, but it will start giving you the benefits. Your consciousness will evolve slowly but surely. So,
okay. Everyone I hope they're listening, because I believe in it. I obviously believe in the power of prayers, but I wanted to hear your opinion, and it's interesting where you used the medium of sound, which actually is what a mantra stands for. I think it has a Shakti, Keel and Beej. That's what a mantra has. And again, it's the frequency. I mean, sound also has a frequency. That's why it slowly starts to change, which is why you said do it for a month and then talk, and you will see a change. Yeah. But you need to at least have that faith to start.
Yes.
Unfortunately, a lot of people will discard something without even trying it.
Yeah.
So let's not do that.
Never. That's foolish. Always be, as I say, a scientist should investigate and then look at the evidence and then, formulate a theory. You are not investigating. You don't know. You're a fence sitter and you say, I don't think that's not a scientific temperament at all. Have a scientific temperament. Investigate it. What happens then? And then, pronounce your verdict. Don't pronounce your verdict without delving into it. I mean, dive into it and then pronounce your verdict. Then you're being then you're being foolish.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. Ma'am, I think now we'll just move on to the questions, because a lot of people asking lots of questions. One is, could you what is Kal Sarp Dosh?
See, Kal Sarp Dosh is when all the planets are between the axis of Rahu and Ketu. So I'll give you an example. Rahu is in Pisces, Ketu is in Virgo, and yeah, and 1/7, and all planets are within Pisces and Virgo. If they are within, and this will give a lot of gyan to a lot of people, if they are within Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, this side, then they are not within Rahu Ketu. They have to be like this. They cannot be. So this is not Rahu Ketu axis, the other one.
Okay.
Second, a lot of, if there is another planet with Rahu Ketu, then it is not a Kalsarp Yoga. Don't get too affected by Kalsarp Yoga, because no scripture, no Shastra on astrology refers to Kalsarp Yoga. That is for beginners. Show me a book, show me any book. Sarvarth Chintamani, Mansagari, Brihatparashar, Hora Shastra, any classic on astrology. There is no word called Kalsarp Dosh. None.
Then why is it such an issue for people? I mean, why is it a cause for concern? I mean,
See,
what
there
is
is,
that's been fed to them?
see, I think somewhere some Pandit would have used this word. However, I don't deny this, and I must tell you that there is a curse of the snakes which can be looked at astrologically. So you call it the curse of the snakes, which can affect and cause problems in childbirth. So there are combinations of Vish Kanyas, of Sarp dosh, or a curse of the snakes. But somebody would have then, later on this, somebody would have said Kal Sarp dosh, and then some lack of knowledge, and everybody Rahu Ketu ke beech mein jo aa gaya. As I am saying, there is nothing called Kal Sarp dosh in the entire Shastra of astrology. Name the Shastra. I mean, whoever that particular, name the Shastra and show me that book. There is none. So people don't need to get affected. But now, who will now find out if there's a dosha of or the curse of the snakes? Just worship Shiva. Just worship Shiva. I mean, Nag Panchami is a beautiful day. It's going to come on. It's going to come now. You don't want to. I mean, Nag Panchami is fine. The Shravan month, the mass of Shravan, just worship Shiva. Shiva has one snake round his neck. I mean, how can one snake trouble you? You worship Shiva. Even Krishna can be seen dancing on one Kalia. You worship Krishna. The snake is also the Kundalini. Krishna on the snake is Krishna in control of the Kundalini. Panchami, the Pancham Chakra. This is high order knowledge. Pancham Chakra.
The Vishuddhi?
Shiva has a snake on the Pancham Chakra.
Okay.
Where he has wish and where. So this is a very esoteric truth. I will not discuss it here. But I'm saying, why on the Pancham Chakra? You could have it somewhere else as well. But Pancham Chakra pe Nag ka kya link hai? Anyway, so that's, but I'm saying just worship Shiva, and Kal Sarp Dosh is fine. You can go to the Jyotirlingas and worship Shiva there, worship the Shivling, and you're fine, no problem. Just do the Rudrashtakam, do it 108 times. Sitting at a Jyotirling, no Kal Sarp Dosh will trouble you.
Okay. So that's a very simple, easy remedy. So I hope whoever asked that's being answered.
Tomorrow is Savan Shivratri. So Krishna Chaturdashi. It's an important day. Worship Shiva. I mean, again, no problems with the snakes. See, they are dating, right?
It is actually this attitude of yours which actually made me think that when it comes to astrology and when it comes to you and your own understanding of it, this is why I was thinking that I want to ask you personally, how do you inculcate your study and knowledge of astrology? And is there any sense of fear or insecurity that it brings? Because looking at you, that does not seem so at all. Not at all.
As I say, when you do astrology and you see your own chart, so then you have to become a bit like Shankar. You can't become Shankar. You can't become him, but you become a bit like him. आप विषपान कर लेते हैं. So you see, but it requires a slightly evolved soul to accept. There have been cases where people do astrology and they do very little of astrology, and little knowledge becomes dangerous. I have seen of cases where people have committed suicide, saying that, oh, you know, this was going to happen. Now, then I would say astrology, I mean, don't study astrology if you don't have the bandwidth to take it. Don't. If you have the bandwidth to tolerate, only then, because this will give you, it will give you a lot of, you'll walk on thorns. But yet the pain will not be there, because you will realize the scheme is somebody else's. And that, because for me, astrology, if anything, moved me towards this level of surrender to the divine will, or Sharanagati, as they say. That is the study of astrology. Nothing could have made me surrender to that extent, extent that I believe that if, I suffered a paralytic attack and, there was a blood clot in my spine, and I was dead below the waist. And I did not fear it, because I said, if my karma, if you, Kalika, want to clear my karma with my blood, it is your call. This is your instrument. You will do what you want. And I bow in reverence, and I allow you to do whatever. I mean, who am I to even allow? You decide. You decide what you want to do. I'm yours, to do whatever with. And then the beautiful thing is that I was to get operated at Paras Hospital, Gurgaon. This was in 2016. Dr. V.S. Mehta, who is ex-head neurosurgery AIIMS, and now who was, a physician. I mean, he's a neurosurgeon, and they took me to the operation theater before making the final incision. They took a final MRI to look at the clot. There was no clot. They moved me out of the operation theater. There was no clot. They moved me out of the operation theater. They waited for 6 months for the clot to move 1 mm, decrease. It did not. I was dead. I was a dead body. And now I can walk. I can't run very fast, but I'm fine. I can do things that, I'm fine. And if that isn't a miracle, what is a miracle?
Absolutely.
There were friends and family at that point in time who said, if Shiva had his Trishul and we saw him, then that was the day, because, we felt that. And I had given into it. I said, so be it. If this is your will, so be it. If I need to suffer, so be it. And then I was saved. There's a beautiful story, and excuse me.
No,
It is said, Draupadi ka jab cheer haran hona tha, to Draupadi ne kaha ki, oh, Dushasan cheer ko har raha hai. So she, tries to hold, the cloth and says, I will not let you pull this cloth that I'm wearing. And she realizes that he has far more strength. So then that innocence of that lady, she tries to hold the cloth between her teeth and believes that something will stop. And nothing happens. And then she raises her arms and says, Krishna, come to my rescue. And Krishna comes to her rescue. But then you had to be Draupadi for Krishna. She's not an ordinary woman. She's Agni Janma. She's Bhagavati Draupadi. So remember that. So then Krishna comes. So Sharanagati, that is an example of Sharanagati. Just giving you.
Oh, it's wonderful. Miracles do happen. I completely agree with you. I've experienced them. So which is why for me, I'll wholeheartedly agree that miracles do happen. Also, it reminds me of something that someone once said, that जो तुम सोच रहे हो, अगर वो हो रहा है, ठीक है. लेकिन अगर जो तुम चाहते हो और वो नहीं हो, that's even better, because then that's God's will. You don't.
Uski raza mein maza. That's what it's called. In a very Urdu way. Uski raza mein maza. That's it.
Yes, absolutely. I have a lot of friendly questions coming up, so I'll just quickly move on to one. Someone is asking that in case they don't have their birth date, birth time, but of course they know their birth date, but not the time. How can then one circumvent this? If I'm sure they're asking because they want their horoscope checked.
See, the way to do is you look if there is a range to this. So sometimes there's a range of 15 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hour. Sometimes we want to know exactly what the mother says. So the mother says, "Jab gaay ghar aa rahi thi," so we know it's the Godul. A lot of people. Jab mandir ki ghanti shaam ko baj rahi thi. So we try and figure out what is the range. Once the range is figured out, then you look at Varga charts, Dwadashamsha. which will tell you about the parents. And you'll say, what is the profession of the father? Was there a tragedy in the family? You will look at Saptansh, the date of the birth of children. And you will say, now, and then you will correct it. Then you will look at Navansh. They'll say, what is the date of marriage? And then you will fine tune it further. So various vargas will help you arrive at a fine-tuned time. I have seen my guru, K.N. Raoji, Ken Rao sir, do it so often. He sometimes, and not sometimes, I should say, I have seen him go to a correction of seconds. That is miraculous, phenomenal. That's like a scientist scholar doing that. I can't correct it to seconds. He corrects it to seconds. He looks at Shashti Amsha. You know, he has, I would say, knowledge beyond, and it's a scholarly scientist who could do that. Not everybody can correct it to seconds. But yes, it can be frozen to a given particular, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, sometime even 10, and it'll give you a prediction can be given, because if the Lagna is same, the Gemini Chardashas can give you predictions. So that will, those can be used.
So it's possible. No need to worry. Someone's asking, the best mantra to get rid of enemies.
See, Hanuman Chalisa is great. Hanuman ji is a great Shatru Nashak bola jata hai unhe. But Bajrang Baan aap pad sakte hain. That will help you, that'll weaken your enemies, Bajrang Baan. And if a lot of people are talking ill of you, then worship Bagulamukhi. Because she, her ammunition, will hit the jivva. These are very subtle points. There's a visual of the goddess pulling a demon's, tongue, but it has various other. There are matrikas in the body. The various body parts are matrikas really. So the tongue has a certain matrika, and there is an esoteric meaning of the right hand and the tongue. But I'm saying, then if people are backbiting, bitching, then worship Bagulamukhi.
Okay.
And there are various formats of, but I will just suggest to the Bagulamukhi Chalisa, even that help. That's dose 1, because then they can be high order doses. But Bagulamukhi is worshipped on Thursday. So you can, Thursdays, sit on a yellow asan and just worship Bagulamukhi, and I'm not giving a mantra here or a bija here. Just do the Bagulamukhi Chalisa. Just smaran of Bagulamukhi. Can also. Smaran is a form of bhakti too. Navada bhakti mein smaran bhakti. Anyway. So, Bagulamukhi, Bajrang Baan, that should be good. Bajrang Baan is the easiest, because every Hanuman Chalisa, after Hanuman Chalisa, you have 3 pages of Bajrang Baan, 3 to 4 pages. Bajrang Baan can annihilate Shatrus.
Okay.
Yeah. A woman is troubled majorly, and she says that, other problems, worship Kalika, tell her the problem, she will sort it. Just telling the problem sorts it. But if you want, you can just read the Kalikashtakam.
Okay.
Women sometimes come to me and tell me that, they have been betrayed. Now that is not an enemy. It's a different sort of an enemy then. And they cry, they really cry. I tell them to worship Kalika, and I tell them, depending on how I see the chart, I either would recommend Durga or Kalika or various forms of Shakti, because then Shakti will see what she has to do.
Ma'am, I have one question for you. We're already 45 minutes in. Are you okay if we extend this beyond an hour? I mean, are you pressed for time? If we extend it by another 15, 20 minutes? We still have an hour. We still have 15 minutes though. Are you?
Yes, so 15 minutes to an hour is good. I am to get into a Havan after that, so that's all.
Okay, I won't take too much of your time then. But
no, you can complete an hour. That's absolutely. I had scheduled that time. An hour is with you. The 2 performers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the questions are just coming and sometimes because I'm engrossed in what in listening to you. So sometimes I'm missing a lot of them. So I get them in caps then. That this was our question and not supposed to be asking it, So
oh my God. God bless you all. Whoever are watching this, God bless you all.
Yeah, I mean it's wonderful, because they're so enthusiastic and they're so excited and they're so inquisitive as well, So Okay, let's just simply move on to the next one. This was a really interesting one, which says, is Libra in India the same as Libra in Argentina?
You can go to my YouTube channel. I've explained this in detail. A sidereal zodiac and a tropical zodiac.
Okay.
So the sidereal zodiac looks at the moving star Chitra, and 0° Aries never happens on the same day. But tropical, yeah, this is very technical. We have to look at that video because it explains it in great detail. So therefore, the way to easily do this, I will give you a easy way to do this. 14th of January is Makar Sankranti. Okay, so Makar Sankranti means the sun is moving into Makar. Makar is Capricorn. So 14th of January, sun moves into Capricorn. In Western system, sun has moved into Capricorn on the 23rd of December. So there's a delay of almost 21 days.
Yes.
So, and sun stays in a sign for 1 month. So from 14th January to the 14th of February, we have Capricorn. And again, but remember one thing, since we follow the system of tithis, which is very technical and very fine, because a tithi is, the longitudinal arc between the sun and the moon at 12 degrees and in multiples or integer multiples of 12 degrees. So, 12 degrees is 1 day, 24 degrees is 2 days, so that's how tithis work. Tithis are very technical. I'll quote one thing here before. Okay, so first so that way you can arrive at Libra and say, now when is Libra coming with this chronological order. But remember that Sankranti every month does not happen on the 14th because of the Tithi system. 1 month it will happen on 14th, one on 15th. So within 14th to 17th, you will have the solar ingress into the next sign. Because one Tithi is 19 hours to 26 hours. It's not 24 hours because, the distance between the sun and the moon can be 13 degrees in 24 hours, sometimes 11 degrees. We are that fine scientifically that we look at a 12-degree variation between the two to say now, 1 day. And I will quote, a lot of people say Panchang mein kya rakha hai or Tithi mein kya rakha hai. Ashtavakra Muni, and a lot of, people from Chinmaya mission would have also read of Ashtavakra Gita because there's a beautiful commentary of the Ashtavakra Gita from Swami Chinmayananda as well. There are many others, but I'm just quoting one. So Ashtavakra is a Muni and he goes to Raja Janak, Sita Ji's father. And he says, the man who knows the 12 Amavasyas, the 12 Purnimas, the 24 Parvas, the seasons, the 365 days, the Karnas, that man who understands the revolving Samvatsar, we do the Vikram Samvatsar, he is a wise man. So the ancients have talked about the beauty of the Tithi. That is why the Pavali does not come on the same day every year. It would be a very rudimentary system to have the same festival come the same. So therefore, a month is not 14th to the 14th. It is to the 14th to sometimes the 15th, 16th, 17th. But solar ingress between definitely to 14th and 17th. So Libra in India can be used for the entire world. Please don't follow a rudimentary system of tropical zodiac. Follow the sidereal zodiac and look at the Indian chart and say, wherever you're living in the world, that Libra is this period and Sun is in Libra or Virgo or Scorpio. Yeah?
Okay. A lot of questions on when will Corona end? I know you've done, I think, more than one video on this where you've said
three of them. First video was in March.
Yeah. And then you've said this repeatedly, that post, I think, 15th of September, the casualties will start to subside. Someone has asked, okay, so what then in November, December? Also, with regard to the border tension, is it going to be just a case of tensions, or someone is saying, will there be some kind of a war that one should expect?
This is not a full-fledged war where nuclear weapons will be used, but it is a semi-war. A lot of people will die. There will be a lot of bloodshed. This is not tension. China will not leave any stone unturned. We are going to have a major fight, but it is not a full-blown. A full-blown war is something else. This is a semi-war, but a semi-war is not border tension. This will go beyond that. So that's, yeah. And both China and Pakistan will attack India, Pakistan will say, वो कहते हैं ना बहती गंगा में हाथ धो लेना. So Pakistan is going to do that, which is a coward enemy would think like that, but that's what the country, I mean, they shouldn't, I mean, however, but that's what they will do. So both Pakistan and China will, China is any which ways, no, this backing from the Galwan Valley is just eyewash. They will come back again, and we too will have a lot of casualties. But I think we are prepared, and they will lose. They're in for major problems in the years to come by, so let them suffer. They are going to suffer. And on Corona, yeah, so September mid, but after September mid, it'll come in control by September mid. After that, just few cases, so while it subsides, whatever cases are there. So by November 20th, when Jupiter moves back into Capricorn, by that time, it would have become very, very weak.
Okay. Okay. Another question that a few have asked is, any remedies for Shukra? Again, this is a general one, but if a Shukra is Venus is debilitated, then any remedies to improve it?
Yeah, just recite the Kanak Dhara Stotra recited by Adi Shankaracharya. That is one of my favorites actually. The Kanak Dhara Stotra. People think that Lakshmi ji is only to be worshipped for, getting women in their lives or getting money in their lives. But I want to add this thing here. सौभाग्य भी लक्ष्मी है, काल भी लक्ष्मी है. काल, जब आदमी की मृत्यु होती है तो वो कहता है अगर 5 मिनट और मिल जाते तो मैं ये भी बोल देता, ये कह देता. तो वो जो 5 मिनट है वो काल लक्ष्मी है, वह भी लक्ष्मी है. विक्ट्री इज लक्ष्मी. People who are suffering, I mean, victory, Jaya Lakshmi, Vijaya Lakshmi, that too is Lakshmi. So yes, Kanak Dhara Stotra is done with a lot of faith, will sort out all your problems. Do it on a Panchami. That's an added, don't ask me why I'm telling you this, but do it on a Panchami. Do it every day. Do it on a Triyodashi. Today is a Triyodashi, by the way, and today is an important day. So whoever wants to start with the Kanak Dhara Stotra can start today, because today is Savan Krishna Triyodashi. Triyodashi or Friday, Lakshmi ji is worshipped, and Triyodashi is a great day, so you can start your Kanak Dhara Stotra today and just continue to do it from today onwards.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, let me see what else. Someone had asked about, where is that question? Okay, tell us about the Aditya Hridayam Stotra. Someone asked about this.
Very powerful stotra, which Lord Ram was given before he went to fight and annihilate Ravan. So Agni ka baan hai Aditya Hriday Stotra mein. Medical astrology. Medically, if you have any ailment of the heart, because the sun signifies heart as well, Aditya Hriday Stotra. If you have any heart ailment, recite the Aditya Hriday Stotra. If there is insubordination at work, Aditya Hriday Stotra.
Oh, okay.
And generally too, this is the place, Bharat Bhumi is the place of the Ikshvakus, of Suryavanshis. Aditya Hriday Stotra has the power to raise the collective consciousness of this country. Aditya Hriday Stotra is that powerful. Gayatri Mantra, if you can't recite the Aditya, but the worship of Surya, because Surya is Maryada, Surya is discipline, that can do wonders.
Okay. Sometimes I wonder, there's so much actually that all of us can do, but I think we just get stuck in the nitty-gritties of it, or probably in processes, or like naysayers, but I don't think it will. I don't think it will help, But there's actually, it's just profound knowledge, right? There's so much that we can do, which, you are telling us, and this is just a chat that we've had, but there's a bhandar hota hai na? That's the feeling that I'm getting.
जब बुद्धि सात्विक नहीं होती तब हम क्वेश्चन करते हैं. बुद्धि को सात्विक होगी तो आपको कोई जाता हुआ व्यक्ति भी एक बात कह देगा ना कि राम का नाम लो, वो बात हृदय में बाण की तरह भेदन कर देती है। कई बार जब बुद्धि सात्विक होती है, किसी की एक लाइन आपको, इट कैन चेंज द वे यू लुक एट लाइफ। वन लाइन, दैट हैज हैपेंड टू मी एज वेल। वन लाइन just changes. But the buddhi is sattvic, नहीं तो otherwise you would doubt. बुद्धि सात्विक होती है, आपको एक I was just, wanted to get one book photocopied yesterday. Yeah, I did because it was out of print. So I went to a nearby shop near my house, and there was a temple. I walked into that temple, and because of Corona times, not many people. So some lady was sitting and reading the Tulsidas Ramayana. So I walked in, I did pranam to the Shivling, and I was not even focusing on what she was saying. Then she said one line. I can't tell you how I felt. She said, Dharma Dhurandhar Ram, Raghukul Ram. It moved because I'm receptive to this. I had to sit down. I had to sit down in that temple because I could not get up. It was a state of dhyan that just by hearing this line, Dharma Dhurandhar Raghukul Ram. Just that one line, I sat down. After that, it took me time to get up and go. That line sort of, I went into a different place. That happens. I'm just sharing it so that, whoever, my Vani can affect whoever. If it has the power, it will pierce through your consciousness, through the veil of buddhi, and you too will worship. And may that happen. God willing, that should happen. Because the country has to go to the next level. The consciousness, the collective consciousness of humanity will rise, but the consciousness, the collective consciousness of Bharatvarsh will rise. And that has to happen. The process has started. Already started.
Ma'am, there are loads and loads of questions, but I think we're running out of time. Just one question. You do personal consultations, right? Because a lot of people are asking me that as well.
I do. They can connect with me. They can DM me on Instagram. Yes.
Okay, there you go. Okay. Ma'am, thank you so much. It has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. And सुकून जिसे बोलते हैं ना, वो महसूस हो रहा है. I'm feeling it. I'm sure that everyone who's logged in and who's watching as well has taken something from this discussion, and that actually was my aim for getting in touch with you. Thank you so much, ma'am. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much, because you are the reason why this knowledge is going to people. Because had you not connected, and I didn't think of what I'm going to say, but it's turned out to be like a spiritual connect. I'm talking, you asked me many spiritual questions, and it has, so I would say you are the nimit, the reason why so many people will benefit. So God bless you. You're a lovely person.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, you take care.
And I will connect with you again soon.
Most welcome. Absolutely. You take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Nikita.
And thank you to everyone who's joined in. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.